Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Megan Mateo, and today we are going to do something a little different. This is a class that I'm going to be teaching you on traditional smoky eyes, and to help with that I've picked up a quad, a smoky eye quad from Soap & Glory called Ace of Shades, and this is the Smokey Dokey palette. You can see the inside. We have 4 shades here, a light, medium, slightly darker, and then again the darkest shade. And we'll just be using these 4 colors, and that's it for our eyes. So to begin, I have moisturized my face with Lumene Nordic-C Daytime Moisturizer, and then on under eye I use the CeraVe Eye Repair Cream. And so that's how we've prepped our skin. Everything's clean, moisturized, ready to go. So first of all, since we're going to be experiencing, or there's a chance we can experience, something that in the makeup world we like to call fallout or fall down, that's when a dark shade of eyeshadow falls to this part of the eye, on the top of your cheek. We're not going to go straight in with foundation and concealer because we just have to wipe it all off, because all this dark shadows come down onto our cheeks, making it not a fun blend. So to begin with, we're going to use Milani Eye Primer and then go straight in with the eyeshadows. We're doing eyes first, skin after that. So, Milani Eyeshadow Primer, we just need the tiniest little bit and apply it across the eyes like this. And I also like to do a little bit underneath. And then on this eye, same thing, a little bit underneath. And that'll get us going. It gives the eyeshadow something to stick to. Since beforehand I might have put a foundation or some concealer over my eyelids and then the eyeshadow would stick to that, it needs something to grab onto, or else it's just going to fall off your eye basically. So to begin with, I'm going to use this lightest shade all over the eyelid, from the lashes up to the brow line, and that I'm going to use a flat eyeshadow brush to apply. So I'm dipping straight in and going right onto the entire eyelid. This will make our blending a lot easier, since we're not going to put the darkest shades right on top of just eye primer. We need something a little bit softer for the blend to go more easily. You can use a light shade, or even your regular face powder can work as well. And so next, going to go in with, it's going to seem a little counterintuitive, I'm going to go in with the darkest shade. So here's our darkest shade in the palette. I'm going to use sort of the smudge brush, so the tiny little brush, and taking that right against the lash line. I'm going to be sort of pouncing it on, but gently, and forming a line where our eyelashes are, and then this will slowly be blended up. So this is our classic smoky eye look, darkest at the lash line, and it diffuses itself the higher up toward the brow bone we go. If I get really quiet, it's because I'm concentrating. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, especially the olive green halo eye video, I explain how darker eyes, darker smoky type eye makeup can look pretty scary right up into the end. This is going to be one of those. So don't worry, it'll fix itself, but it will take until the point where we're putting on our mascara and eyelashes before it looks done and finished. So just trust the process and it won't steer you wrong. So now we're going to take the same smudge brush and do what it's meant to do and smudge that eye line that we've just used for the darkest shade, and just work that color up further, diffuse all that color. So, and a smoky eye is a lot of apply, blend, apply, blend. You're building this color up, you're building up the intensity. So we're going to switch colors just a little bit using our flat eyeshadow brush that we use to apply the base color, and we're going to switch into the second lightest color, the sort of silvery gray color, lightly dipping into it and then sweeping across the main part of the lid. Giving our eyeshadow something to blend into. Back into our smudge brush and the darkest shade, building some more intensity along the lash line. And then smudging it out. So you can see it's starting to build. And now we're going to go into a crease brush, like this. That's actually the other end of my smudge brush, into the medium shade here, and take that up into the crease. So and it's kind of boring watching me go back and forth like this, but this is the true process, and so if you're interested in seeing how to build a smoky eye, this is probably the best way. Watching everything in true time, not editing it down at all. So we're going to go back into our palette, into the gray silver shade here again, with our flat brush, and then going to apply it again to the lid. But this time trying sort of to avoid the close lash line and just getting this in right above that and into the crease where we just applied our medium crease color. back in and with the deepest shade, knock it off, and deepen that a little more right at the lash line. This time we are not going to be smudging it. However, I am bringing it out in sort of a wing shape. This goes closest to our eyeliner. So we've built a really great foundation for our smoky eye. I've gone back into the medium gray, not the lightest gray, but the medium gray color, and am really emphasizing this crease now. So you can see how deep the colors have gone, how saturated the eye looks. As our final touch, taking another eyeshadow brush into our very lightest shade, this one right here, and going to go across the brow bone and use it as well to sort of blend this crease color, hence smoky eye. Alright, so now that we've got the upper part of the eye done, I'm going to go in with my eyebrow pencil. I'm going to use the Maybelline Define and Fill Duo in Blonde. And we'll draw in the eyebrow so that I can kind of see if I need to deepen the eye even more. I don't think so. I think we're at a good stopping point for the top. But this is the surest way to for me at least, to figure out if I've gone intense enough with my eyeshadow. The brow balances that all out. So I would say, yeah, we did a good job. Now for the second eyebrow. This one usually goes a little more smoothly for me. Remember, eyebrows don't have to be perfectly the same. Eyebrows should be sisters, not twins. But it's also okay if every once in a while they end up just looking like cousins. So, now that we've done that, cap off our pencil. I'm going to go in and clean up under the eye with either a damp cloth or a makeup wipe. And you can really get in a shape. So I use this makeup wipe to create a really pretty elongated winged shape already. And we are going to be going back in a little bit later with eyeshadow, eyeliner at the bottom part of the lid. So the bottom lashes will get their own treatment as well. But right now we're going to go in and do our foundation, our concealer, and going to start with CoverGirl 3-in-1 All Day. And my shade is Classic Ivory, and I use that with an e.l.f. makeup sponge. I love this one because it's a little bit bigger than a beauty blender, and not that my face is large, but it does certainly make foundation application go really fast. So if you're using a foundation that sets really quickly, I can think of one right off the bat is Revlon Color Stay. It sets very, very fast. If you use a sponge like this to apply it, where the application is very fast, you have less of a chance of it drying out on you while it's on your face before it's blended. So I'm just sort of pouncing it on. And then dragging it down my neck. There. Had a little smudge of something there. So, now that we've done that, that's good. I'm going to go in with Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. My shade that I'm going to use is Fair. And just putting a dot right up near the inner corner of the eye, using a little crease brush that I got years ago, Sonia Kashuk, and using that to blend it down into the circle under my eye, which I get because it's hereditary, but I also have allergies, which this is not a great season for my allergies. Living in California, this is our desert plant blooming season, which is super fun because I am originally from California, but hadn't lived here in ages and grew up in the American South, so I'm used to those pollens. I'm not used to the desert plant pollens, and having moved back here just a couple years ago, haven't gotten time to get used to those pollens yet either. So once they do start to bloom and the pollens start to spread, it just smacks me across the face and I can't deal with it. But now that we've got that down, I'm going to go in with my LORAC loose face powder, grab a powder brush, and powder lightly under the eye, across the nose, the chin. Just set this foundation. Don't forget your cheeks, because I'm going to be using powder contour, powder highlight, powder blush. Don't want for those powders to go directly onto wet foundation or a liquid foundation. It's dry, it's not wet, but I separate wet and powder from each other. So we've got that going, looking good. Alright, next, going to go back under the eye with our shady, our quad here. And starting out with a smaller eyeshadow brush. This is a Real Techniques shading brush. It's several years old. I do like it. My products are well loved. And going into the very lightest shade in our quad, starting in the very inner corner, going to take that and just sort of pull it out onto the lower lid. Next, going into the grayish silver shade, same brush, tapping off excess, and then starting right underneath the iris of your eye, begin to drag that outward to the outer corner. So you want to try and do this with your eyes open, otherwise it will be difficult to find your iris. And don't be afraid to reapply, make the color a little deeper. And don't be afraid to pull the color downward. There's a lot going on the top lid. You can use that to balance out whatever you do on the bottom part of your lid. So your bottom eyelid can get a lot of color under it without it looking like your eyes are drooping or without it dragging down. So this next part, using the very darkest shade on our palette, same brush, I'm going to use that line that I've created here to take the last of this and pull it up following that line. So there we go. So it's the outer part of the iris is where I've started, and I'm pulling that back. So there we go. Just a quick little blend with our crease brush here and blending into the eye and then back under. And like I said, this is going to be scary, almost terrifying, until we get everything done. Next up, under eye liner. I'm going to use, this one is old, but I know they still sell it. This is the Pixi gel eyeliner in black, and going to use it in the waterline and just sort of through the bottom lashes. I love this one because it's so creamy and so soft. It needs a little time to dry though, so try and keep your eyes open, even if it means holding them like this, for like 15-20 seconds. And then going to the other eye. I'm taking the black eyeliner into the lashes now. Next up is the top liner. I'm going to use the e.l.f. H2O proof waterproof eyeliner pen, but it says H2O proof in black. This one wants you to shake it first and then uncap and get going. So try and go close to that lash line. And then I'm waiting for it to dry, because once it is dry, we're good. But until it's dry, it could transfer. It could stamp from the lid up to the crease when your eye is open. So I just give it a little bit to dry off. Meanwhile, I'm going to cap, shake a little more, and get going again. Now, I am not liking how that is blended itself out. So I'm just going to go back in, soften it, and now ready to go again. So there we go. And I lost the cap. There it is. Yay! So, managed to get the eyeliner on. Stamp just a little, but we can clean that up. Alright, so next up, cheeks. I am pulling out a palette of mine from IT Cosmetics and going to use the lightest shade of contour right here. Dipping in with the Real Techniques brush. This is their blush brush. Like it because of its shape. It's kind of, well, it is tapered to the top. But the brushes are not tightly packed. It's got a lot of movement, and just sort of dipping in with the top of the brush and going to use it to draw a contour right here. Okay, also going to take that contour down the side of the nose by pinching the brush and just guiding it down. There. I could see where I had a little bit of a hole in the eyeshadow, so I went back in with my darkest shade, cleaned it up. That's what that little interlude was all about. So now going to go into my Profusion blush palette. Going to use a really cute but very understated shade called Lush. It's right here in the center. I would describe it as a peachy nude. So there's not a lot going on with the actual color per se. It's very close to my own skin tone, so we're not going to be fighting with that eye. Taking a not very liberal amount and going to just brush it across the cheekbone. For a little color, but nothing too distracting. Now back to my IT Cosmetics palette, using this highlight here. It's got a little bit of a frost to it. The other one is a matte highlight, which has its place, but just not here. I'm going to go to the top of the cheekbone, push that on there with just a little fan brush. Not putting a lot of pressure on it, which is okay. Dragging this across the tip and the bridge of the nose, the chin, lip, and forehead. Yay! So there's the cheek done. Cleaning up a little under the eye again, smudging our eyeliner there. So now that I'm pretty pleased with most of the look, I am going to do a little extra step. I'm going to use NYX's Tinted Brow Mascara in Blonde to really hold my eyebrows where I want them. It also tends to lighten up my eyebrows slightly, which I enjoy with this heavy eye makeup. I'm brushing the fronts of my eyebrows straight up, and then the tail of the brow is going back down. I like that it's a little bit wild looking, kind of fun. This would make a great New Year's Eve look if you're going to go out and have some fun that night. I do have another New Year's Eve look planned. I'll be filming it in just, I guess, a week and a half. So stay tuned for that. Going in with my contour brush, blending everything together one last time. And so now I'm going to dig in with a little bit of, let's see, this will work. Going to do some lips now. I'm going to use Maybelline Color Sensational in Magnetic Mauve, and then I'm going to top it with my Starling by Noyah Sundressed lip gloss. The two together should make a really pretty nude for me. I need a little bit extra around the lip line. So there's the lip line done. And next I'm going to pull out just a little brush. Actually it's a concealer brush, but I'm not going to use it like that today. This one is from Essence of Beauty, and I'm going to use it to pull that lip liner down into the lips to soften it. Okay, now that it is sufficiently soft, break out the lip gloss. It's a really pretty color that shouldn't fight too much with our eye look. Just going in with my fingers. To pat it out. And then using a wipe on that. So, lastly, I am going to go in with a mascara, this time CoverGirl Clump Crusher Water Resistant in black. It's my favorite. The brush fits my eye really well, and that is probably why I keep going back to it. And then I'll end up using 2 to 3 coats. And don't forget your bottom lashes. This look can definitely handle some bottom lash work. Alright, so this look is basically done. If you want to really make an impact though, I would recommend using a false eyelash. The ones that I love most for more, not really a natural look, but a bit of an impact are the Ardell 110s. I've got a big pack of them right here. So I'm going to go off camera, apply them, and then I'll come back so you can see what it looks like all done with the lashes. So hold on just one second and I will return. So here we have our finished look with eyelashes attached, and you can see what a strong impact it makes. So again, this was just a classic smoky eye with all of the impact right around the lash line and then diffused up toward the brow bone. Lots of smokiness around the bottom of the lashes, and again, smokiness around just the whole halo of the eye. I've kept the cheeks and the lips very light in comparison, so as not to draw attention away from the eye and to not overload the viewer, so somebody who will be looking at your face, with too many places to go. That can end up looking a little bit jumbled. It's definitely a look very much from the 70s and the early 80s where every feature was high impact. In a way to keep this more modern, we've left the lips and the cheek on a little more of the muted side. So I hope that this was a learning experience for you, or if you already knew how to do a smoky eye, maybe you picked up a tip or two. If you like what I've done, please press the like button, and if you want to see more, subscribe, and that would really, really make me very happy. Again, I film these about once a week, usually try to get them out on Sundays, and so until next week, have a great one. Stay safe. Goodbye.